Ever since he burst onto the scene, he's been an unstoppable force, and you've all heard his name, Mitr0.
Here, he can actually send him. Oh! No, wait. No way! Mitr0!
Fit with an aggressive playstyle and impeccable mechanics, this Dutch Fortnite phenomenon holds over a dozen tournament wins under his belt and has proven time and time again that he's not only one of the best in Europe, but he's one of the best in the world.
Bizzle picks up one. Bizzle has he done it? It's Mitr0 that secures round 14 of the ESL Katowice Royale and sends shockwaves through the standing.
Starting out, he became an overnight success, but unfortunately growing too quickly can lead to its own problems. And in Mitr0's case, he had to go through troubles that neither he nor anyone else ever saw coming. Before we get into the story, if you guys want to play like Mitr0 or play with anyone as good as he is, I recommend going to ProGuides.com, where you can play with pro players right now, and they'll teach you all the techniques to become a pro. So when I said Mitr0 had been at the top since the very start, I meant it. Way before the FNCS and the World Cup, there were these small-time tournaments called showdowns. You'd play a set number of matches, and whoever could get the most points in those games would win some V-Bucks. This is where Mitr0 would jumpstart his competitive career. In the Blitz Showdown, out of the tens of thousands of participants, he ended up placing first in EU with a final score miles ahead of the rest. Now, this win must have surprised the hell out of Mitr0 because he was a competitive gamer long before Fortnite, grinding games like H1Z1 and CSGO. And while he was definitely good at those games too, he never placed first in a region-wide tournament. This win was a step above anything else he had done. And nobody knew it at the time, but these showdowns were actually secret qualifiers used by Epic to scout talent for their upcoming $8 million tournament series, the Summer Skirmish. And with his commanding first place finish, of course Mitr0 would be asked to play. But Epic weren't the only ones scouting the showdown leaderboard. Plenty of organizations were looking to add talent to the rosters, one of those orgs being Team Atlantis. They contacted Mitr0 and the offer was good enough for him to accept right away. Joining a pro team is the dream of every competitive gamer, and now Mitr0 was on one. He couldn't be happier being a part of Team Atlantis, at least for now. Throughout the 8-week Summer Skirmish series, Mitr0 played a total of 6 times, and man oh man did he kill it. Seriously, it was a pop-off after pop-off. In the first week, a solo competition, he won $10,000, which is absolutely insane for your first cash prize ever. The next week, it was duos, and along with his fellow Atlantis teammate, Magin, they were hungry to get the win. Things seemed shaky at first in this event, but they switched it up, played their cards right, and eventually climbed all the way to the top of the leaderboard.
And there's the victory! Mitr0, and his teammate, I actually don't know who
It's the Atlantis guys.
Oh my goodness.
And it didn't really matter who he was duoing with, because the next duos week, Mitr0 teamed up with Kinzel. And guess what? He pulled it off yet again. Another first place tournament win, and Mitr0 was suddenly making a tremendous name for himself as Europe's best player.
All the way to the top, Kinzel and Mitr0 still holding that #1 spot.
All in all, Mitr0 closed out the Summer Skirmish with a bang and won over $100,000. Over just 6 weeks, truly remarkable considering when Mitr0 had first started playing Fortnite, he thought the game actually sucked. He gave it a try, hated it instantly, and avoided it for a whole month. It was only later when he gave it another shot that he finally understood what all the hype was about. Mitr0's massive success in the Summer Skirmish would easily secure him an invite to the next series, the Fall Skirmish. And again, he continued to dominate. Multiple first place wins and high finishes throughout the event, including an ingenious jaw-dropping play with the game's newest item that no one had ever seen before.
Mitr0 versus Aragonist.
He's testing his might. He's gonna drop down a little bit, get closer.
Dude, if he can create a small opening here, he can actually send him.
Oh!
No, wait.
No way! Mitr0!
Oh my! What did I just win?
He pushed himself through everything!
The casters were mispronouncing Mitr0's name, as I had done as well in the past, but after witnessing that, I'm sure they learned his name. His mind-blowing performance in the fall skirmish earned Mitr0 another truckload of cash, this time $80,000. That kind of financial growth is unprecedented in esports, even for an all-star like Mitr0. And with just how explosive it was, he would soon be encountering some significant setbacks. But in the meantime, the World Cup got announced in 2019, and players all over the world were scrambling to try out new duo partners and get ready for the most significant Fortnite tournament of all time. Mitr0 never really had a set partner, so he needed to find one, someone who was preferably a top performer just like him. And who would he end up finding? Well, there couldn't have been a more perfect fit than the energetic prodigy himself, Mitr0. These two officially began dueling together in March of 2019. Mitr0 was a bit of a loose cannon, but with Mitr0 keeping him in check, the results were magic. And in their first tournament together, well, I probably don't need to tell you how it went.
And now the high ground contest is going to come through, but because of the jump pad height, they're going to be forced to parachute super early, giving them first shots on all of these guys as El Dynamo gets taken out. Mitr0 now trying to catch up to Mitr0 in terms of Elim. He's saying anything you can do, I can do better. 1 on 8, the other on 6. Will they be able to clean up and finish this match out?
This is so crazy. Here we go. Next set of placement points. It all comes down to the victor. Mitr0 dives down on them, swooping down like an eagle, finds 2 eliminations. That one needs to be confirmed, though. The siphon hasn't come through. It's a 2v2. Where is the other duo?
It is about to get cleaned up. The other duo is on Mitr0 as it goes through, and he picks it up, and he says, anything you can do, I can do better, +1. Mitr0 passing Mitr0 at the last moment, getting 9 elims. Mitr0 on 8, 17 eliminations between the two of them. That is a fantastic way to start that out.
That's right, another first place finish. With such a standout showing leading up to the World Cup, everyone was pointing at Mitr0 and Mitr0 as sure bets to qualify and potentially take the entire tournament. All they had to do was put their heads down and make sure it happened. To no one's surprise, they effortlessly smashed through everyone and earned their seats in New York. And it only took them their first week.
Mitr0 and Mitr0, dude, we've talked about these guys since their inception, right? The moment they came forward, like, hey, we're a duo, we were like, all right, you know, they're going through. Like, you just can't.
Yeah. Mitr0, the fact that they're even in the finals in New York, that is horrifying for someone that's there.
I've done so many events now in competitive games, and sure, 9 times out of 10 my predictions are wrong. At the start of the day, I literally would have predicted that these 2 duos would have finished first for this region, and that's exactly what winds up happening.
When it came to Mitr0 qualifying for the solo event, things wouldn't be as straightforward.
Watching through that code, looking for any play he can make, and no! Mitr0! Oh, you're better than this. We know this. Man. He does not make the edit play before he shadow bombs. And he does not make it through. 1 second earlier, he would have been fine if only he had gone for that early edit. You cannot interact with anything but doors as a shadow, and he is...
That's the type of blunder that would haunt even the toughest of us. And the thing is, if Mitr0 had won that game, or even got some more placement points, he would have qualified. Ultimately though, Mitr0 didn't end up winning a solo spot in New York, and fans of his were utterly shocked. Mitr0 was one of the best players in the world. He's been on top ever since day 1. How could he not qualify? Was Mitr0's reign finally over? Well, of course not. It was only one event. One that a ton of pro players didn't qualify for, and Mitr0 still performed quite well. But it seemed as though Mitr0 wasn't really a solo player. Most of his wins were the result of duos. So, Mitr0 had his sets set on yet another duo finals.
They're all the way down.
So I'm feeling pretty good about the World Cup because like me and Mitr0 are like a really good duo, and I think we have a pretty good chance of winning like the duo. Just sad I didn't qualify for solo.
Going into the World Cup, our duo had one advantage: their aggression and raw skill. And by putting it to use, they weren't going to let anyone stand in their way.
DB, you were talking about early game engagements. This is one that's been going in the duo of Mitr0 and Mitr0's favor against Skeptic and Clicks in Neo Tilted Towers. The pressure here from Mitr0 to find out exactly where the first player is. Mitr0 up above, then targeting on both. They try to get into the same box at the same time. They go down and just continue pushing forward. Mitr0 and Mitr0. It's the second time that they win this engagement here today, and it's not stopping. They continue forward onto Vox and Parpy and just try to hunt down everything. There Clicks is trying to escape as well. And then this snipe here from Mitr0. He actually Not only did he hit that, and they get right into it onto Zexro, he hit Vinny coming in with a driftboard right before this. So one elimination there for them. And then they had the engagement that we saw earlier. We're going to go ahead and run it back because this clutch puts them perfectly in position at 4th place right now. A reminder that this was with Mitr0 down after all was said and done. There he goes down, and then Mongo comes in right on cue. He does not let his teammate go down. You heard the reactions earlier.
All their aggression paid off, and this was against the best players in the world. Despite a few hiccups here and there, Mitr0 and Mongo played extraordinarily well and finished in 6th place, earning themselves $450,000. All in all, a massive victory.
I did pretty good in the duo. Just sad that I couldn't play in the solos. Yeah, I'm really happy about my performance. Me and Mongo played really well, like both in like solo, because one of us died in like every game almost. So.
But soon after the World Cup had ended, Epic would bring us even more exciting action by kicking off the Trios Fortnite Champion Series. Mitr0 and Mongrel were already a fearful pair, and by teaming up with equally gifted Benji Fishy, they ended up forming one of the most distinguished trio games in all of Fortnite history, MMB.
Shots would have been enough, potentially. They're marking it like crazy. Gonna fire in now, here we go. Finds back-to-back hits, so scary. Accurate. Mitr0, another elimination.
And it's unfortunate because they already hit one player, right?
I mean, we wouldn't say it if it wasn't an absolute fact at this point. These guys are far and away one of the best trios we've ever seen play the game.
Every single game, you're effectively saying, okay, we'll play for 2nd place. Because when you eliminate the factor of them not getting contested off the start, and then being able to get max mats, max shield, max utility, it's easy. MMB can execute with the shockwaves to retake. They can execute by putting pressure down with RPGs, and when they have more ammunition than anybody could possibly have, and when you go to challenge for the high ground, they always have traps, they always have builds. Euro, what's up?
MMB completely dominated the Trio's FNCS. They had their teamwork and strategy down pat, and with a commanding presence over their overpowered retail row landing spot, they won week after week of qualifiers with a level of consistency that hadn't been seen ever. And with such a ridiculous prize pool, tens of thousands of dollars were going right into their pockets every week. Everyone's pockets, except for Mitr0. Apparently, Mitr0 hadn't been benefiting from being on Team Atlantis for a while. His career exploded way too quickly, and he was earning so much prize money that the share he was giving Atlantis as part of his contract was worth way more than the salary and support he was receiving. Rumors eventually surfaced that the org grossly underpaid him, as well as taking a disproportionate percentage of his earnings. No one knew the exact details. However, one thing was certain. Mitr0 wanted to get out, but he couldn't. The contract said he had to stay until he was bought out by another org. And since no one was willing to pay that buyout, Mitr0 was effectively trapped. And thus began the Free Mitr0 campaign. Everyone from his peers to fans that wanted to see Mitr0 succeed took to social media and showed their support, including Tfue, who had just dealt with a similar contract scandal with FaZe Clan. The amount of people that had Mitr0's back was enormous. Still, the situation was a bit more complicated than everyone thought. So Atlantis cleared the air by responding. It turns out they weren't taking Twitch or YouTube revenue from Mitr0, and their share of the prize money, according to them, was just the industry standard. However, the rest of the situation still stood true. Mitr0 felt he outgrew Atlantis and wanted to leave, but he felt stuck. Thankfully, Team Atlantis did the right thing and let Mitr0 go. A lot of people tried to make Team Atlantis out to be the bad guys in this situation, but in reality, it was a unique case of a player with so much potential that he outgrew the capabilities of his org. Remember, Team Atlantis as a new org themselves signed Mitr0 way back after his performance in the Blitz Showdown before he had earned any prize money at all. So, it's not like they could have predicted just how huge he'd become. Team Atlantis is one of the better orgs for doing this, and it just goes to show what a quality organization they are. But after leaving Atlantis, Mitr0 became free to explore new opportunities. He had plenty of offers on the table, and on January 22nd of this year, he sided with esports powerhouse Team Liquid. And to give you an idea of how vital this switch up was, news came out recently that Mitr0 was now earning a salary of over $100,000 per year, signed with Liquid, most likely a hefty sum than what Atlantis could offer. As of now, Mitr0 has been focusing more on streaming, so he can connect with his fans who he adores.
Yeah, I just love all my fans, and like, I get happy when I meet them, you know.
And as for competing, well, Mitr0 and Mongrel parted ways since they last played together in trios, and now Mitr0's new partner for the duo's FNCS is CRR. And like we said, it didn't matter who Mitr0 duos with, it's the same case here. They've already won 3 duo cash cups together and even placed first in the Week 3 FNCS finals, proving once again that after 2 full years of playing, Mitr0 is still one of the best players the world has ever seen. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed hearing about Mitr0's history and how he came up in the Fortnite scene. I hope that all of you guys were inspired by this story and you guys are also able to take some of this story and try to become pro players yourselves. It's a tough rise to get to the top, but if you have passion and perseverance, anything is possible, and there is no better time than now to get into esports. Personally, for me, Mitr0's story was absolutely inspiring. If you enjoyed this story, then check out some of the other stories we have on our YouTube channel. And if you guys are interested in getting better at Fortnite, go to ProGuides.com and find your pro coach right now. That's it for the video, guys. It's been Christoph. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone's safe with what's going on with the coronavirus. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.